Every 100K with Airbnb video on YouTube tells you the same exact thing. Buy more properties, add more doors, scale your portfolio.
That is not what we would do. If we were starting from one property in 2026 and wanted to get to 100K, we would not buy an additional property. We would start managing other people's.
It's called co-hosting, and before you think, why would anyone hire me? If you're already running a short-term rental, you already have the skills. You are already doing the hardest part. You just have not turned it into a business yet. We have spent over a decade actively hosting, built a multi-million-dollar portfolio, and helped over 1,000 hosts grow more profitable businesses, collectively generating over $2 million in bookings every single month.
And a significant part of that revenue comes from properties we do not own. This is not theory. This is exactly how we built our business. But no property owner is going to trust you with their investment if your own listing is not running right. So this video has two parts. First, we're going to make sure that your property is performing the way that it should, because that is your audition tape. Then we're going to show you exactly how to turn that into a co-hosting business that gets you to 100K without buying anything new.
So before you think about adding a single door, you need to know that what you already have is performing the way it should. A lot of hosts come to us in private coaching because they are not there yet. And the first thing we do is find the money that's already sitting in their existing listing.
We're going to start with your cost per reservation. Here at Thanks for Visiting, we call it CPR. What does it actually cost you every time someone books? Your cleaning fee, your supplies, your platform fees, your mortgage or rent, your utilities, your management time. If you do not know that number, you do not know if you're making money. You might be fully booked and breaking even, or worse, losing money. We have seen this happen.
Once you know your cost per reservation, you can build a pricing strategy that is tied to your market. A third-party dynamic pricing tool calibrated to your comp set or your competitive set, your demand window, so when is there high demand in your market, and your lead time. If your occupancy is running at 94% or above, I promise you you're underpriced. And that is not a win, my friend. That is money that you are actively losing.
Then you're going to look at your listing and booking funnel. Is your first page impression rate holding? Are guests clicking and then not booking? Is your hero image current? Is your description converting? Every one of those is a lever, and every one of those affects what you make.
Optimize all of that first. You cannot scale chaos, okay? A system that does not exist cannot grow. It just creates bigger problems at a larger scale. Get your one property running the way it should, because everything in part 2 of this video gets built on top of this foundation.
If you're watching this and thinking, I want to build this, but I'm not sure my property is ready, that is exactly the conversation we have inside Strategic Host. We start every client with the 10 grand plan, finding $10,000 sitting in their existing listing right off the top. Your property is the proof of concept for everything we just talked about. Link in the description to apply. So once your foundation is solid, let's talk about what a co-hosting business is and what 100K actually looks like as a co-hosting business. Because when you see the math, you're going to realize this is a lot more reachable than you think. Co-hosting, also called short-term rental property management, depending on your state and its licensing requirements, means managing other people's properties on their behalf. You handle the listing, the pricing, the guest communication, the reviews, the operations, and you earn a percentage of the revenue. Typically somewhere between 20 and 25%, depending on your market and what your package includes.
So let's do the math backwards. At a 20% management fee, you need to be managing $500,000 in gross rental revenue to earn $100,000. Depending on your market, that could be 4 or 5 well-performing properties generating around $100,000 each annually. That is not a massive portfolio. That is just a focused, well-run operation.
Now, the question everyone starts to ask around this point is, why wouldn't I just buy another property? Or do rental arbitrage? And the answer comes down to risk. Arbitrage, that means signing a lease, buying all the furnishings for a property, paying rent every month, regardless of your occupancy. You are taking on the financial risk of someone else's asset without any benefit of owning it. Co-hosting, it requires none of that. No lease, no furnishing cost, no monthly obligation when the calendar is slow. Your downside is limited. Your upside scales with the properties you take on.
With co-hosting, if a property underperforms in a slow month, your revenue dips, but you're not covering a lease payment on an empty unit. If a property owner decides to sell, well, you lose that client, but you're not stuck holding furniture in a property that you don't own. Every risk in arbitrage is a risk you don't carry in co-hosting.
Buying another property is a great long-term play if you have the capital and the financing. We are not against ownership, absolutely for it. But if your goal is to get to 100K this year, co-hosting gets you there faster with less money down and without the risk of being over-leveraged.
Now, here are something hosts who want to start a co-hosting business ask us constantly. Where do you find clients? And we're going to go and give you the honest answer here. Finding clients is consistently the least of our worries. We are pitched daily by property owners who want to work with us. And if you're running a strong operation with great reviews, you will be too.
Property owners reach out to us for a few reasons. They tried hosting themselves and realized it's a lot harder than it looks. They hired a co-host who has no pricing strategy and no systems, or they see your reviews, your rating, the culture you have built around your hosting business, and they want to be a part of it. Your reputation on your own properties is your marketing for everyone else.
So the challenge is not getting clients. It is taking on too many before your systems can support them. This is my favorite saying, money likes speed. But this is someone else's asset, someone else's investment, and often someone else's biggest financial decision, and I don't take that lightly. You have to be able to deliver at scale before you say yes at scale. Chaos at scale is just chaos a lot faster.
So before you take on your first client, here's what needs to be in place. Your brand standards. What properties qualify to be in your portfolio? Location standards, safety standards, amenity standards. Not every home should be a short-term rental, and not every owner should be your client. Knowing your standards protects your guests, your reputation, and most importantly, your business.
So I have a couple stories that I'm going to share with you about learning this the hard way. When I first got started, I actually just moved to Columbus and I needed a way to make money, quite honestly. And I was really excited. I saw all the upsides of co-hosting and I got some clients. One client who had this beautiful, giant Victorian. I mean, it was gorgeous inside, beautiful backyard, and it had an in-ground hot tub.
Which sounds cool.
It was beautifully done. It was gorgeous. And there was a fire pit over here. It was amazing.
Yeah, visually, out of the park.
I didn't think ahead of time. Like, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know what I didn't know. And as I started learning more about the responsibility I had in managing that property, I mean, this property was large. Families would come and celebrate moments in that large. I mean, I think it was like 14 beds. It was huge. But families would come, and I started thinking, like, wait, there are going to be kids running around in that back area, and this hot tub was in ground. So let's say people are inside the house, not paying attention. We didn't have any of the pool alarms, no gate around the hot tub. And I had talked to the owner about doing something about it, and he just kept dragging his feet. He kept not doing it. And this home brought in a significant amount of commission to me every single month. But at the end of the day, I had to part ways with this home and, of course, also with this owner because I could not sleep at night. I could not think about what would happen no matter how much I would tell the people who come and stay at the house, like, make sure you have your eye on your kids. It didn't matter. Like, there weren't safety elements in place. And I had to let it go.
And we're sharing this story with you because saying no to a client, just another human being, saying no to money, especially when you're getting started, it is so difficult. We are not here to sugarcoat it. Like, once you get started, you are going to have so many people asking you. And it is about exercising, again, what those brand standards are ahead of time. And just know that there is another client out there. So it might be so difficult to say no, and it might not be a hot tub. It might be you're not in alignment with their guest values. There might not be alignment with what your commission fee should be. Let all these be red flags for you ahead of time. So just no is going to happen. You're going to have to say it. So exercising it sooner than later to make sure you're protecting your brand and your business.
Next, your package should be in place. What you do and what you do not do. This is where co-hosts lose money. And honestly, this is one of the top conversations that we have one-on-one with our clients, because they take clients cheap out of fear. They agree to vague terms and they end up doing unpaid work, running supplies to the unit, coordinating capital repairs, decorating and setting up the unit without additional compensation, fronting money for an appliance that goes out during a guest stay because you want the guest stay to go well, right? None of that gets decided until it happens, and by then you're absorbing costs that were never in your agreement.
And do not discount your fee for your first client. Do not take someone on at 12% with a plan to get them to that 20%, 25% later. You are going to set that standard from day one. The math has to work from the beginning. If a client will not pay your rate, they are not your client. And saying no to the wrong client means you have room to say yes to the right one.
So you should also have a contract reviewed by an attorney, clear on responsibilities, clear on communication, expectations, clear on the exit plan. One of the most common failures we see in co-hosting relationships is a lack of communication expectations. A property owner who does not know when they will hear from you, what their owner statement looks like, or what the revenue strategy will be, they start texting you at all hours, asking questions that you should have already answered. So set it up front, and it protects both of you.
And charge an onboarding fee. There is significant work involved in bringing a property into your portfolio, getting the listing right, making sure the photos sell, ensuring the property is clean and guest ready and meets your standards. That work cannot be done for free. Property owners will invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into their property and then resist a startup cost to get their business running correctly. Hold the line on this. This fee can range anywhere from $800 to $2,500, and this fee does not include design and furnishing. Here is what year one of building a co-hosting business looks like, because we want you to see yourself in the timeline, not the destination.
The first 90 days are about getting your own operation to a place where it can be your proof of concept. Your listing, your pricing, your systems, your reviews. No property owner is going to hand you their investment based on potential. Or at least they shouldn't. They are going to look at what you've already built to decide if you want that, if they want that for their property.
Between months 3 and 6, if you're running a strong operation with great reviews, you will start interviewing potential clients. Property owners see your rating, they see your culture, they see how you operate, and will be interested in learning about your program.
So one co-hosting client managing a property that generates $100,000 in annual revenue at a 20% commission is $20,000. 2 clients is $40,000. Maybe your third client has 3 properties and now you're at $120,000 in year 1 while still running your own property.
100K does not happen in month 1, but it also does not require 5 years of saving for a down payment on a second property. The path is shorter and less risky than most people expect, and it starts with the property you already have.
If you're watching this and thinking you want to build a co-hosting business, here are 5 things you can do today to start moving towards that.
Number 1, audit your own listing first. Be your first client. Your property is your proof of concept. You cannot pitch someone else's home if yours is not performing. Get your own operation dialed in before you ask anyone to trust you with theirs.
Number 2, I want you to write down your brand standards. And I'm serious about this.
Yeah, like your pen and paper,
Yes,
old school.
yes. Location, safety, amenities, like what matters to you? What defines the business that you'd be proud to run? Know what a yes looks like before someone asks. If you do not have standards defined, you will say yes to the wrong client and spend the next year paying for it.
Number 3, build your hosting resume. Your rating, your reviews, your results, 1 page. It can be a Word doc, a Canva page, cloud design, a section on your website potentially. Include your guest testimonials, your safety program, your vendor relationships that you've all built on your own property, your property number 1. That is what you show a potential client when they ask you why they should work with you.
4, I want you to know your number. Go back to the math we did earlier. What management fee, how many properties, at what average daily rate do you need to hit your revenue goal? And then you'll reverse engineer that. That number tells you exactly what kind of properties to say yes to and which ones to pass on so we can get you to that 100K.
And number 5, find your attorney and get your contract drafted. Do not do a handshake deal or any sort of agreement without this. Do not say yes verbally, and you'll just figure out the details later. Have this ready before your first conversation with a potential client so that when you're ready to move, you are ready to move.
Inside of our coaching program, Strategic Host, we help hosts and co-hosts get more nights booked, charge what their property is worth, and they stop leaving money on the table.
If this video made you think differently about how you are building your hosting business, check out the link in the description to learn more.
And with that, I am Sarah Karakan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are...
Thanks for visiting.